Are you a MAGA follower? Please do not come to Mexico. Do not come to Cancun. Do not come to Puerto Vallarta or Acapulco. Uh, Stay in the United States. Eat your Taco Bells. Eat your burritos. Eat your whatever you got back home. In Mexico, we already know that MAGA people hate Mexicans. We already know that you support Donald Trump, who is a really bad guy for Mexicans. They are putting our people in prisons. They are attacking our people. They are disappearing little children, separating families. We don't like MAGA people here in Mexico. And if you come, please do not bring your orange hat saying MAGA. Do not come with your shirt saying MAGA, because I've seen cases where MAGAs have been attacked by Mexicans in Cancun. At least they get knocked on their head, or at least they insult them, and we are right. We know you hate us in the United States, so why are you gonna come to Cancun with your offending us with your MAGA shirts or hats? Stay in the United States. You're better there. Why do you come to Cancun? Why do you come to Mexico? If you don't like us, stay there.
Hello family, and welcome back to the channel. A quick disclaimer before we begin. The following commentary reflects my personal opinion based on publicly available sources. The goal is to analyze trends and ideas, not to stereotype or attack any group. Now, I want to talk about a video that has been making wave online, one that takes a critical look at MAGA, American MAGA supporters traveling to Mexico. And honestly, it raises some questions that are worth thinking about. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more commentaries like this. So right now, let's get to it.
Yup, you already know. I'm back at the Guadalajara International Airport, and it never surprises me. MAGAs who think their white privilege extends into Mexico. Well, guess what? It doesn't. Before Trump took office in his second term, the Mexican immigration system was very lax. They wouldn't check for your paper visas. If you wanted to leave the country, they wouldn't require it. But now, ever since Trump took office back in January 2025, now it's mandatory. Now you have La Guardia Nacional and even immigration agents who are actively checking for visas and paperwork, typically of American citizens. If you're a MAGA and you stand out because of your tattoos, because you pull out your phone and you got Fox News updates, or you have stickers on your luggages of USA flags, etc., you're gonna get singled out. It truly doesn't matter what your final destination is, because typically within domestic flights, you don't carry your paper visa. But nope, if you're a MAGA, you are getting stopped and you're getting checked. And if you don't have your paperwork in check, you're gonna go to the immigration office and pay an additional $40 tax. By this time, their blood pressure is through the roof. And that's only when they're flying solo. When they're flying with a family or 3 or 4, you can do the math. $120, $160. But the most important thing is they will lose their flight. Airline staff can't issue a boarding pass unless this paperwork is in check. It truly sounds very petty, and actually it is, but it's kind of like an eye for an eye when it comes to immigration. Not necessarily, but MAGAs, when you're in Mexico, you play by our rules. Salud, mi gente. Los quiero. Remember last time I was here at the Guadalajara International Airport, and I told you that one of my many enjoyments was watching MAGAs have to wait in that long ass line to return to the US. And when they get to the front counter, they're told that their immigration paperwork isn't in check. And then they're sent way down there to the immigration office to get that paperwork in check. And by this time, their blood pressure is through the roof. Now, they're not concerned about the tax that they have to repay that they already paid, which is typically about $40, but they're more concerned about the crunch time, because if they don't have this paperwork in check, they're not boarding. Like always, since my flight is delayed 2 hours from Guadalajara, Jalisco to Las Vegas, Nevada, I thought I'd stand around and just fish, waiting for a MAGA to be sent down to the immigration office so you can see firsthand how upset they get when their white privilege here in Mexico is revoked. When it happens to Mexicanos who are traveling back to the US, it kind of sucks because they get caught up in the system. But when it happens to those peeps right there, it's kind of like an eye for an eye.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think taking a video of myself talking about going to Mexico for dental work was going to cause people to give me death threats and threaten me in my messages.
In all of my wildest dreams, I completely expected you to come on this internet and cry about mean comments, as if your vote didn't just wreck hundreds of thousands of people's lives, snatch away their jobs, strip them of health care, and in some case, literally get them killed. People are being brutalized, deported, and left to suffer because of the policies that you voted for. And now you want us to feel bad for you, Karen, because the internet hurt your feelings. Be so for real.
Literally just wanted to post about how it was like cheaper to go to Mexico, and people are making it political because I voted for Trump. Like, I don't hate Mexicans. I just don't want illegal people coming into my country.
You got on here to admit to us that you're not educated and didn't even understand that you were indeed voting for a healthcare system and that it is political. You also got on here to confess that your traditional provider of a husband has failed his family financially, and he's got his own wife smuggling herself into a shithole country across the same border she wants walled off just to get her teeth done by the same dangerous illegals she loves to demonize. A classic colonizer playbook. Go to another country, exploit their labor and resources to make your life better, but vilify immigrants when they try to come here to make their lives better.
You know, it's always been interesting to me how when America is enforcing its border policies, it is seen as the villain, as the evil white regime, the colonizer, the racist who simply want to see America white again. And here's the thing about that. Nearly every other country, whether developed or underdeveloped, has a strict border policy, including Mexico. Look at this right here. This is right now, a current protest, mostly peaceful protest, wink, wink, that is taking place in Mexico City. And what is the subject of this protest? Immigration. That's right, folks. They want you to go home. They want you to either learn their language, to assimilate, or to get the hell out. Now imagine that. Somebody believing that it is actually politically correct to ask those who look to become a part of your culture to actually be a part of that culture. And when that doesn't happen and instead people flood in illegally without respect of your law, you happen to do something about it. Imagine that.
I want to talk about the biggest problem with Mexico. I've been living here for a while now and I love it, but there is one undeniable issue that Mexico has and its biggest problem, and that is the United States. Every decision that the United States makes has a negative impact on Mexico, from the war on drugs to the lack of gun control. Where do you think the bad people get their guns? From the United States. The war on drugs and drug trafficking has had an irreparable effect on Mexico, and it's very unfortunate. And yet people in the United States have the audacity to look down on Mexico like it's some flawed country because of the issues that it has, not realizing that Mexico and the United States have a negative symbiotic relationship, and the issues here would not exist were it not for the United States. Mexico is the reverse tapestry of the United States. On the outside, in the United States, it's neat, it's clean, but yet on the other side is all the issues that the United States is just tucking away and ignoring. And as I said, even trying to make it seem like that the issues that Mexico has are Mexico's fault alone, which to me is crazy. The good news is though, the problems that Mexico has are like a benign tumor. They could just be cut out. And when they are cut out, Mexico will be a fine country because the people here are wonderful, the culture is bright, the culture is vibrant. It's a shame that there's just problems that exist that hold it back. However, the problem with the United States is their problems, it's a malignant tumor. It's within the culture, it's within the behavior, it's within the systems. And the craziest part is people from the United States have really convinced themselves that there's nothing wrong, that it's fine. It's fine that everyone's got guns and are shooting at each other. It's fine that there's no health care. And that to me is just absolutely wild. And that's why I love Mexico, and that's why it breaks my heart that Mexico has the problems that it has, but it is not the fault of the people. It is the fault of something that they cannot control. Whereas with the United States, people from the United States have control over what they do. They can make the right choices, but they choose not to. They choose to persistently elect the wrong people and put up with laws and systems that make absolutely no sense. So that's why 9 times out of 10 I will always pick Mexico, because the people here are wonderful and life here just makes sense.
I've seen a few videos of people wearing MAGA hats in Mexico, and my question is, what is the intent and what is the appropriate response to something like that? Because if you're going to go down into a place that you have shown such hate and disdain for and wear basically an FU hat to them, what do you think is going to happen? And do you think if something does happen to you that we should come and find you and bail you out? I mean, I'm not saying I wish harm on people, but you're literally going somewhere where you're not welcome and you're showing that basically you're just spitting in those people's face. So like, what's the appropriate reaction for a Mexican to respond to an American who's wearing a MAGA hat? Because I have a few ideas of what I would do if I was in their shoes. And I wonder, what would you do if somebody came and basically just spat in your face? Because that is exactly what they're doing. They think that because Donald Trump is president, they're now safe to do and say whatever they want, wherever they want. And unfortunately for them, they're going to find out pretty quickly that is not the case. You are not welcome in Mexico. You will never be welcome again in Mexico. You should not be eating Mexican food. You should not be listening to Mexican music. You should not be having Taco Tuesday. You should not celebrate Cinco de Mayo coming up in May. None of those things if you are on Team Trump, because you have completely spat in the face of every Mexican and every Mexican American by supporting MAGA. Why would you wear a MAGA hat to Mexico? What are you trying to do? Just be a jerk? Be that person? Like, why would you do something like that? And I guarantee something is going to happen to one of those people, and they are going to expect the rest of us to feel sorry for him. Newsflash, we won't.
According to the video, multiple speakers warned that certain American conservatives are increasingly unwelcomed in Mexican tourist areas. Some even suggest there's a real risk of confrontation if visitors openly display their political affiliations. That alone is a bold statement, but it also points to something deeper: the perception of foreign political influence in a country trying to assert its own values. The video goes on to highlight stricter immigration enforcement by Mexican authorities, specifically targeting Americans who fit the profile of a MAGA follower. This raises a question: how do countries balance being welcoming to tourists while protecting their own political and social space? Then there is the hypocrisy angle the video points out. Tourists who vacation in Mexico while supporting anti-immigrant policy back home. Is it really fair to enjoy a country's culture, food, and landscape while actively supporting policies that restrict the freedom of others? And how do locals perceive that behavior? Finally, the video concludes with a big claim: the core problem facing Mexico are not internal but are tied to the negative influence of the United States toxic political environment. That's a heavy accusation, but it does make you wonder how much does a powerful neighbor's politics affect its surrounding countries, and can tourism even be fully separated from politics? Here's my take. Traveling isn't just about visiting a place. It's about understanding the culture, respecting the people, and acknowledging the context or you enter. And when politics cross borders, the impact can be much bigger than anyone expects. What do you think? Should travelers be held accountable for the politics they support back home? Or is that unfair? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear your perspective on this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more commentaries like this. Let me see you on the next video.